Time is now 5:33 p.m. on April 14th. Just to clarify, this is the Warwick Oceanic Discovery Group. I know many of you probably have walked in here thinking it's a school committee meeting. That's in Auditorium B. If you're here for the Warwick School Committee meeting, it's in Auditorium B this evening. It's close. Nobody got up and left. All right, I'm calling to order the April 14, 2026 meeting of the Warwick School Committee at 5:33 p.m. Eastern. At this time, I would ask Ms. Tedeschi to please call the roll.
Mr. Galligan?
Here.
Ms. Hazelwood? Ms. Kirby Chapman? Mr. Wiggins? Mr. Testa? Thank you.
5 present. We have a quorum. At this time, I would ask everyone willing and able to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We are now on to the recognitions portion of our meeting. I would turn it over to Director of Human Resources, Mrs. Jakes.
Thank you, Chair. At this time, I am pleased to share the March 2026 Employee Spotlight winners. These staff members have been nominated by their peers and recognized for going above and beyond. I would like to ask if any of the winners are here tonight that they please stand when their name is called. From our clerical staff, we are honoring Tony Anderson at Pilgrim High School. Here. Teacher Assistant Sandy Bradford at Windman Middle School. Yeah, good job. Principal Megan McGuire from Warwick Neck. Nurse, and I apologize if I say the last name wrong, Kelly Benasuk from Oakland Beach. Sorry about that. We also have another nurse being honored this month, Carrie Lynn Colombo from Scott Elementary. Our custodian, Paul Grimes from Pilgrim High School. Librarian Robin Leone from Robertson Elementary. And last but certainly not least, teacher Amy Kennett from Holloman Elementary.
Congratulations to all of our March Spotlight winners, and continue to encourage all of the employees of Warwick Public Schools to recognize their staff and put them in monthly with HR so that way they can be recognized appropriately. We have a great night. We have an awesome night, actually, for the city of Warwick here. A lot of people to recognize. A lot of great things has occurred over the last several months or even in the last 30 days. So at this time, I'm going to ask my colleagues if they'd like to join me down front below, as well as Superintendent McCaffrey. So as I mentioned, tonight we have a lot of individuals present for recognitions, but to kick it off, I'm going to ask that Principal Yates from Oakland Beach Elementary School come up and discuss the unified programming at Oakland Beach, and immediately after we'll have a few words from Special Olympics of Rhode Island.
Can you hear me now? I'm actually going to speak on the behalf of Mr. David Wishart, a teacher at Oakland Beach Elementary School, who heads our Oakland Beach Special Olympics Committee and Unified Committee. He wrote a little note, so I'll read that for you now. Members of the school committee, Superintendent McCaffrey, and administration, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. A couple years ago, I went to a Warwick Veterans Unified game and was excited to see Park and Hoxie play their very first Unified Elementary game. The next day, I went directly into Joan Thoreau's room and told her, we need to do that here at Oakland Beach. We contacted Mr. McCombs at Hoxie for guidance and he asked, what can I do to help? And they offered to play Hoxie versus Oakland Beach. I thought I could collaborate with Mrs. Thoreau's class and we could absolutely do this together. As the news grew about the game, all we heard from everyone at the beach was, how can I help? What do you need from us to make this team happen? The faculty and staff were excited about the game. Ms. Gargano had an idea to get more students involved by creating a cheerleading squad. And everyone knew this was going to be a great thing as long as we did it together. The following year, the leadership from Mr. McCombs, the Warwick Elementary School Unified Tournament was established. Our team could keep playing and cheering and be united together. Our OB committee now had a new goal. We heard about the Special Olympics National Unified Champion School accomplishment, and we knew we could do this together. Ms. Thoreau, Ms. D'Angelo, Ms. Gargano, Mr. Yates, and I met with Special Olympics Rhode Island to see what we would have to do. It was during this time that we saw many things that were in the playbook we already did at Oakland Beach each and every day. The teachers that collaborated in morning meetings, the leadership that students show, the support from the PTO, school administration, Warwick Schools Administration, and the whole community were already at the school and ready to go. We are extremely honored to be recognized as a National Unified Champion Banner School and know that together, as United One, anything is possible.
At this time, we'd like to welcome Special Olympics of Rhode Island to the front to say a few words.
So thank you. My name is Jeff Smith, and I am the Senior Director for Unified Champion Schools at Special Olympics Rhode Island. And first and foremost, a huge congratulations to Oakland Beach on being recognized as a Unified Champion National Banner School. There are only 17 in the entire state. And so just to give you an idea of how our program works and how Oakland Beach has embraced it, so we run programs based on 3 pillars, one being unified sports, which is our foundation. The other 2 are whole school engagement and inclusive youth leadership. And all of those work together to ultimately create a school culture of true inclusion. Oakland Beach has more than embraced those 3 pillars. And so when the time was right for them to apply for a banner, it was a no-brainer. So Special Olympics North America has put together 10 standards based on those 3 pillars. The application process is extensive because it's such a big deal. And I am honored to say that Oakland Beach has been selected this year. And what it means is that words like kindness, unity, respect, those aren't just words that they use during an assembly or a pep rally, but those words are embedded in their culture and they live it every day, and it's extremely obvious whenever I walk in there. So the banner celebration is May 15th. I'm hoping everyone on the school committee and the superintendent can attend because it's going to be an awesome experience. So again, congratulations. It's been a pleasure working with you guys, and we'll see what we do next together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, Principal Yates, and congratulations to the entire Oakland Beach Elementary School community. We're now going to recognize some of our student athletes who had a fantastic winter sports season. It was truly a banner year for us here in Warwick. I'm extremely proud to say that I graduated from the school district and that I now get to serve this great city on the school committee, knowing that we have so many incredible, talented student athletes within our system. So at this time, it's a great honor to turn it over to the athletic director for the Warwick Public Schools Department, Mr. Ken Ricks. And I would just ask that the students, after your names are called, please come down, join us. We have a small token of recognition for you on behalf of the school committee and school administration. And then we'd be honored to get our photo with you. So please stay down here. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the school committee meeting for this month. I'm very happy to tell everybody that we've had great success in our winter sports. As Chairman Galligan explained, we had so many success stories this winter that we actually had to split up the awards, and we will have the girls ice hockey team, our co-op team, and the Pilgrim Chair team come next month for their awards. Just kind of break it up so everybody could get their own individual moment. I also understand that that the Warwick Vets wrestling team is here, and they will have their banquet this weekend, I believe it is. So I don't want to steal too much thunder from their coaches, but certainly our school committee and superintendent would like to also show their appreciation and gratitude and show how proud they are that you guys were so successful. So I think the best way to start would be with our Warwick Vets wrestling team. We not only won one championship, we won both, which is basically unheard of. We won both the girls' state championship and the co-ed boys' state championship. That's the first time in school history. They, in addition to winning the individual state champions for both groups, they also were the Division I champions for regular season. So it's been quite an accomplishment for that wrestling crew. They have worked their tails off, and what I don't think a lot of people realize about the Vets wrestling group is that there are over 70 wrestlers in that gym, and that's a pretty impressive amount of middle school athletes to have in one facility. And I can't say enough about our coaching staff that works with all of those athletes to make them better. Not just the athletes that end up being at the top so that they're able to compete in the state championships, but the JV wrestlers and everybody aspiring to become up the top. We had a coaching staff. Kurt Keeney is our head coach, but we also have Anthony Myers as an assistant coach, Josh Sepulveda, Steve DiLoretto, Tyler Keeney, Chelsea Vieira, and Mark Clancy. So that room is not empty of or void of adults wrestling, and so they're getting a lot taught. And so it's no surprise that these athletes are pushed to the limit and are successful. So the first group that we'd really like to recognize is the varsity state champion lineup. I'm going to skip the weights just in case somebody doesn't want to know what weight class they want. Our first athlete is Liam Petrozzi. Good job, buddy. Well done, man. Well done. Thanks. Congratulations. You want to go right over here? Austin McCullough. Good job, buddy. Good job. Angelo Izzo. Haley Hayes. Elijah Miranda. Adam James. Sean McCrone. Braden Bettini. Anthony Picozzi. Anna George. Nick Urig. Alex Antigua. Harry Wickwire. Sean Morento, Quentin Stiles, Tegan Downs, Anthony Scanlon, Hunter Parent, Zach Sisson, Alex DeCesare, and Delmar Espinal. No. Oh, that's the coaching staff. Yeah. Let me go back. I'll do them after the girls. I'll call all the coaches. These are next, right here. Those are not picked up. Right on my feet. No, I'll give them the coach. Actually, I give them.
Who's next on the list?
Yep, Analia D'Ambra. Congratulations. Next, we'd like to recognize the Warwick Vets Middle School Girls State Champions. And our first wrestler is Analia D'Ambra. Kinley Fielder. Faith Candelmo. Haley Hayes. Gabriella Dial. Jaylani Demers. Annabella Johnson. Gabby Petinato. Julia Crum. Raina Boudreau. Ryan Chabot. Isabella Robinson. Eden Barrett. Camden Zurcher. Gigi Manillo. Sabrina Johnson. Jane Florencio. Noah Herndon. Natalia Stevens. Sophia Majewski. And Audra Lynch. If we could have another round for our girls state champions. Sorry. Gigi Manillo. Yeah, these are the ones that weren't at the end. None of these showed up.
Okay, so
So I think we're good. I think we're good. I gotta give them to Kurt. Kurt Keeney when he goes by. He's the one with Okay. Stick with the theme of wrestling. I'm sure over the time coaches have always pushed that the team motto must come first, but there is a time for individual champions too. So within our own team championships, we had several individual wrestlers that also finished in first place in the state. And of 50 some odd middle schools, that's pretty impressive. So we'd like to take a minute and just offer some individual awards and a couple of comments about each wrestler. From Warwick Vets, Haley Hayes, captain of the Warwick Vets wrestling team. Central Falls Girls Invitational champion. Haley finished 8th in the varsity tournament before withdrawing to wrestle in the girls' state tournament where she won the 94-pound weight class. Haley finished middle school as a 2-time girls' state champion. Kinley Fielder. Kinley's a first-year wrestler who always put the team first. Kinley wrestled up a weight class to help the team capture the girls' team title. Kinley finished the season with a 7-1 record and was the 85-pound girls' state champion for Warwick Vets. Our next wrestler, Eden Barrett. She was the Central Falls Girls Individual Champion. Eden finished undefeated in the girls division for the 25-26 season. She finished middle school as a 3-time girls state placer and the 25-26 girls state champion at the 145-pound weight class. Eden is also involved with the unified teams, and she chose to be with the unified team tonight rather than accept her own individual award. So she's even more so a champion, and that's Eden Barrett. Anthony Picozzi, a 7th grader, with an overall record of 17 wins and 1 loss. He was a North Providence Middle School tournament champion and the 126-pound varsity state champion. Anthony. Oh, it is. We can fix it. I went by what the coach gave us. And continuing with our Warwick Vets recognitions, Nicholas Uhrig, an 8th grader with an undefeated record. Nick is an 8th grader with an undefeated record of 18-0. He wrestled in 3 different weight classes, always wanting to wrestle the toughest opponent for each team. Nick was a North Providence Middle School tournament champion, a 2-time state placer, and a 140-pound varsity state champion this year. sticking with the theme of wrestling, our Windman Middle School team also had an outstanding wrestling season and wrestling tournament. They finished 5th in the state. And while you don't get a state championship trophy for finishing 5th with 50 some odd teams, that's a pretty impressive record. That coaching staff, too, is quite dedicated, and as well as the Warwick Vet staff. I can't say enough about them. Nick Salois is a former Vets wrestler here, and Matt O'Donnell is the head coach there. Those guys that I know personally have put a lot of time into it, as well as with their assistants. So we have a couple of individual champions amongst the Windman crew. And our first wrestler we're going to speak about today is Peyton George. Peyton is an 8th grader, a 2-time captain of the Windman Middle School wrestling team. She led the Windman wrestling team to a 5th place finish in this year's state tournament. In February at the Varsity State Championship tournament, Peyton wrestled at the 119-pound weight class. She dominated throughout the state tournament and became the state champ at the 119-pound class. She became the 4th girl ever to win the varsity middle school state championship. Peyton was voted the outstanding wrestler of the state tournament, and which is selected by the coaches throughout the state. Congratulations to Peyton on such a major accomplishment. Our other state champion is Ariella Barboza. Ariella is a 6th grader and paced the Windman girls wrestling team to their 4th place finish in the girls tournament. Ariella wrestled in the varsity state tournament and made it to the semifinals. She elected to wrestle in the girls tournament after making it to the semifinals. Ariella dominated the competition, became the state champ at 113-pound weight class. She became the 3rd girl in Windman Middle School history to win the girls' state title and the first ever to complete this accomplishment as a 6th grader. Pretty impressive. Congratulations to Ariella. And last but certainly not least, we have 2 outstanding accomplishments from a couple of our high school athletes. And I'll stay with the wrestling theme for this first award. This individual was the Rhode Island girls state champion. No one scored a point on her during the state championship meet. No points at all. She was New England girls wrestling champion. During the New England tournament, she pinned her final 3 opponents all the way to the finals. It was pretty impressive. I was there, and I couldn't believe that she wasn't only winning, but she was pinning in the New England finals. She kept all her matches in the New Englands under 3 minutes. She went on to compete at the Virginia Beach High School Nationals, where she placed in the Nationals, and she earned All-American honors. She also participated in the U-17 Olympic trials, where she finished 2-2, which is the best wrestlers in the country. Very impressive. This certificate goes to Allie Patton, Pilgrim High School. Have that, Bill? You have it? That's Allie. Continue with our success of our Warwick athletes. This next individual came into this year's Nike Indoor National Championships in New York City ranked as the country's #1 thrower. She did not disappoint. She won this year's national championship with a throw of 18.11 meters. This victory put her in a class of her own, as she's now a 2-time national champion in the girls' weight throw, and she's recently committed to attend Vanderbilt University next year. Vanessa Jones. That's it, Billy. Thanks. Congratulations. And that concludes our awards for athletics. Thank you.
Superintendent McCaffrey has a statement, kind of a mantra that he's dubbed since last May, and it's one city, Warwick pride. And I'll tell you, tonight, watching each one of these student athletes come up, hearing the names called of even the athletes that couldn't be present with us, hearing the accolades, national champion, regional champion, the fact that we have boys and girls teams both winning and sweeping the championships. Tonight, we are truly a city full of pride. And so congratulations on behalf of the school committee, Superintendent McCaffrey and his administration. We're just incredibly proud of you guys. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. Congratulations again to all of our student athletes and our employees who were recognized during the recognitions portion of tonight's meeting. At this time, I'd be asking my colleagues for a vote to go into closed session for discussion and/or action regarding those items of business exempt from open meetings under general laws of Rhode Island, RIGL 42-46-5A1, A2, A4, A8, and A9. Made by Mr. Testa and Ms. Hazelwood, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We're in executive session at 6:06 p.m. We're going to start at 7:10 p.m. 7:10 p.m. Time is now 7:10 p.m. Calling back to order the meeting of the Warwick School Committee for the regularly scheduled April meeting. We are going to hold at this time items E and F of the agenda. The Warwick School Committee temporarily suspended at 7:05 p.m. Eastern executive session. So we're going to go through, out of respect for the general public, we're going to go through all of our open session items, and then we're going to head back into executive session. That means that we will, after executive session, come back out into open session, vote on the items that we have not yet gotten to, and then we'll adjourn at that time. So items E and F we're going to hold on at this moment. Which brings us to the public comment on agenda items. Individual comments will be respectfully limited to 3 minutes per person, with public comment not to exceed 45 minutes. Though the content of comments will not be restricted, it is the hope of this committee that citizens, committee members, and the administration alike will be respectful of each other's right to speak, tolerant of different points of view, and mindful of everyone's time. This public comment period is for agenda items only. There is a second public comment session available later in the meeting for all other topics or concerns. Members of the public are permitted to speak during both public comment periods. Speakers are asked to state their name for the record. Those new to our meeting, the podium is down here to my left. Please just make sure that the microphone is on, and as stated, talk into the microphone. Thank you.
Hello, Darlene Netco. I've been here before. I would just like to comment on the agenda item having to do with consultant for litigation. I am hoping that this litigation involves something called a Carullo action or something similar. I know we at the last school committee meeting, there were many questions that the chair asked of our finance director. And those questions lead one to understand that perhaps the city of Warwick needs to pay the school department more money. And for those out there who are going to take a clip of me stating my opinion that the city has underfunded the schools, I just have to say, I do not want people's taxes raised. I live in this city. I own a home. I pay taxes, as do we all. So for those who are always saying, I'm a taxpayer, we all are. And that's why I always like introducing myself that way, to remind everyone we're all taxpayers and no one wants taxes to go up. However, the truth of the matter is that the Budget Commission did find that the schools need $2.1 million more dollars. Our city council has not voted whether or not to put that money in the budget. They can vote to put it in, they can vote not to put it in, but they haven't taken any action. The mayor has said that he's going to pay the bills. So what that means is that our school department is going to continue to spend the money it needs to spend to educate the children of Warwick. And then at the end of the year, the city side is going to say, look, you're $2.1 million over. Well, that is disingenuous to say the least. At this point, the city needs to, if it's not going to do so on its own, be taken to court and let this be litigated with both sides presenting evidence. I believe that the schools have been underfunded, and I believe that our children here in Warwick deserve the funding so they get the education that they need. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Bobby? No? Any other members of the public wishing to comment? If my colleagues wouldn't mind, a resident did email in a public comment. They were physically incapable of being present at this meeting. I know it's not a practice that we've adopted. The prior committee did have one for COVID, but are there any objections to reading written testimony for tonight's meeting? All right, thank you. My name is John Schmidt. Both of my kids attend Warwick schools. My son is at Pilgrim and my daughter is at Vets. Next year, my daughter Natalie plans to attend the Warwick Area Career and Tech Center and try to enter the culinary program. We visited the program during their open house a few weeks ago and came away very impressed with what they have to offer our students. However, I'm writing tonight because some questions I have about how the Warwick Area and Career and Tech Center helps students meet the new state graduation requirements for the class of 2028 and beyond. In my professional life, I am the assistant principal in charge of career and technical education at Mount Hope High School in Bristol. I've been deeply involved in our district's effort to ensure that all students, regardless of how they chose to complete high school, meet the state requirements for graduation. Furthermore, I am deeply passionate about CTE and the positive impact it can have on students, so my concern should not be understood as criticism of the Warwick Area Career and Tech Center or its administration. The entire purpose of the new graduation requirements is to ensure that all graduating students meet the minimum requirements for admission into URI or Rhode Island College. This means that, at minimum, students must have 18 academic credits by the time they graduate. The minimum requirements include 4 English, 4 math, 3 science, 3 social studies, 2 world language, and 2 college prep credits. There is a mechanism for career and tech students to forego one of those classes if they're in a CTE program, thus finishing with only 17 academic credits. If I had longer than 3 minutes to talk, we could discuss all the nuances. However, The short version is that they still must have 17 academic classes, not 16, not 15, and not 14. Warwick area career and tech students take 5 academic classes in their freshman year, then 3 each year thereafter. Thus, they finish with 14 academic credits, far less than the 17 or 18 that the state requires. When I realized this after attending the open house, I spoke with the guidance departments at both the Warwick Area Career and Tech Center and Tollgate, the director of the Warwick Area Career and Tech Center and admissions departments of URI and Rhode Island College. I came away with 3 very major conclusions. There is very little leeway from URI and RIC with the 18 credit requirement. The biggest barrier to students earning these credits is the school schedule that's part of the collective bargaining agreement. There's no definitive plan for fixing the schedule beyond hope for a waiver from the state. I'm speaking tonight to call upon the teachers union to reconsider the schedule. Students who attend Warwick Area Career and Tech Center will only take 24 classes over their 4 years. They must have the chance to take 18 academic classes and complete their career and tech education program. My district successfully does this. Other districts successfully do this too. But all of us have a different, more effective, more flexible schedule. If this schedule doesn't change, our students won't graduate. This is true for students who will be juniors next year. We can't waste time. I implore you to do what's right. Thank you. No, this is public comment. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Are there any? Yes, thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Seeing that there's none, we're on to recommended action. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of the minutes of public session, March 10th, 2026. Made by Ms. Kirby Chapman, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of minutes of executive session on March 10th, 2026. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of the minutes on public session, March 24th, 2026. Made by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of warrants, April 14th, 2026. Made by Mr. Testa and Mr. Wiggins. Seconded by Ms. Kirby Chapman. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'll be turning it over to Director Jakes for announcements personnel as presented.
Thank you. I'd like to start tonight by sharing courtesy appointments and transfers in Warwick. We are excited to welcome the following staff. We have Erica O'Connell, who's starting as a part-time art therapist at Oakland Beach, Hoxie, and Veterans Middle School. Mark Romero is a part-time MLL family liaison for the district. Laura Generu is a one-on-one teacher assistant at Windman Middle School. Nicole Fernie is a teacher assistant at Holloman Elementary School. And Taylor Asino is a kindergarten teacher assistant at Greenwood Elementary. I'd also like to congratulate Jennifer Randall, who is transferring to a graduation by proficiency coordinator at Tollgate. The second part of our announcements tonight are retirements and resignations that require a school committee vote for approval and requests for leaves of absence as provided in the collective bargaining agreement of the Warwick Teachers Union. For retirements this year, we have Deidre Rolls, 39 years, working right now as a math teacher at Veterans Middle School. Mark Clancy, special education teacher at Veterans Middle School, 26 years with Warwick Public Schools. Mary Palumbo, elementary special education teacher at Sherman Elementary with 25 years. Sandra Noonan, elementary teacher at Scott for 36 years. Lauren Pellegrino, reading specialist consultant at Windman Junior High School, 26 years. And Lisa Sweet, special education teacher at Tollgate High School with 8 years for retirement. For resignations, we have Craig Enos, our Executive Director of Finance and Administration. Caitlin Major, special education teacher at Oakland Beach Elementary School. Lisa Sweet, special education teacher at Tollgate High School. Kristen Cobb, teacher assistant at Oakland Beach Elementary School. Michael Higgins, school and student safety assistant at Windman Middle School. Jennifer Serino, teacher assistant at Scott Elementary School. Craig Stevenson, night custodian at Robertson Elementary School. And the final piece are our leave of absences. Darlene Netko, 50% leave, English teacher at Tollgate High School. Matthew Ascioli, science teacher at Veterans Middle School, 1 year unrestricted leave. And Siobhan Mumford, reading specialist at Oakland Beach Elementary School, 1 year unrestricted leave.
Great. Thank you very much. Be looking for a motion to move approval on the retirements and resignations as presented.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa and Ms. Hazelwood, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Congratulations, Mrs. Noonan.
We're now on to donations and correspondences. I'd like to thank Melodies of Opportunity for their instruments donation to Hoxie Elementary, valued at $400. So again, thank you on behalf of the Warwick School Committee, Superintendent Bill McCaffrey and his administration, to Melodies of Opportunity for the instrument donation to Hoxie Elementary. I also want to thank an anonymous individual for their very kind $900 donation to Greenwood Elementary for a soccer goal. So again, thank you to whoever was kind enough to donate $900 to Greenwood Elementary for a soccer goal valued at $900. We're now on to adoption of policies. If my colleagues have no objections, I'd look to take them all as one packet. No objections. Okay, so I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the policies presented to us for first read tonight. That is policy DLC, General Fund and Grant Expense Reimbursements. Draft of policy DJE, that's D as in David, J as in John, E as in Edward. Building Committee Change Orders Approval Process. Copy of policy BCF, Advisory Committees to the School Committee. And second draft of BCD, Student Liaison to the School Committee.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa. Seconded by Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion?
Yes,
Mr.
Chair.
Testa.
Two things. Policy BCF about the advisory committees. I think this is for Mr. Hennius. Is the building committee a subcommittee or is it a committee? I don't remember when it was established, how many years ago?
I believe it's a subcommittee. Let me double check that, Mr. Testa, but
Okay.
I believe it is.
That's fine. And then on BCD, the student liaison draft to the school committee, I watched the meeting, so I don't have any issues. The only suggestion, and you might want to take up, is on student responsibilities, items 8 and 9. It says serving a one-year term beginning in September and ending with the last meeting in June. And then number 9 says attend all regular open school committee meetings. So should we further qualify that by regular monthly meetings? In other words, if we have a special meeting, you don't necessarily need the student liaison here for that. I'm just thinking regular monthly meetings. Okay, that's all I had.
Thank you. Mr. Testa, are you looking just for like an amendment to the policy based on that when it goes back to policy? And are you good with it moving on for second read in the next
Yes.
meeting, or do you want it to stay within first read at this time?
No, I think if we just clarify those changes as regular monthly meetings, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Great. Any other comments from members of the committee on the 4 policies presented to us for first read? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the policy for elimination, policy BCE, and that is committees. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion? Yeah, I applaud the policy subcommittee for evaluating the redundancy here in these policies and kind of doing a little bit of cleanup. So nicely done to Ms. Kirby-Chapman, Mr. Wiggins, Ms. Murray, and everybody else on that committee. So thank you, guys. Being that there's no other discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're up to chair updates from the policy committee. First draft on policy BCD, student liaison to the school committee. Ms. Kirby-Chapman, anything?
So we wanted to honor Mr. Testa that wanted to add more to the student liaison portion of the school committee, but we as a policy committee kind of liked it more generalized because it's something that's new. We wanted to keep it more open-ended in general, but we are a democracy. So being that one committee member wanted more, and I and the policy felt like it was a little bit better as more general, we decided we would put it more as a voting style to our fellow peers, which, because again, this is, democracy style. And yeah, and so the elimination was combining a few of the committees, cleaning them up, putting them in, doing the 60 days, made sure that we added the 60-day language that you had wanted, but making it more general, not generalized, but not saying it was a finalized 60 days, but having at least an update for you within the 60 days. And then the building committee finally, I want to say finally, sorry. Sorry, not finally, but the building committee brought their resolution to a policy, so we were able to put that forward. And then the general fund and grant expenses were obviously, updating them to today. So I don't know how to put it to a vote of as a committee, which do you prefer, the first draft or the second draft?
Fine with the one.
Yeah, I'm fine with the one we just voted, the student liaison one we just voted on.
So you all prefer the more information, okay?
That's the one that was put forward to us. Yeah, if there was a second one, then we.
Well, that's why we kept the second one. That's why the first draft was there. So we decided as committee, if you guys would vote. Okay.
You have anything, Mr. Tessa, down there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So, busy month for the policy committee, and something that should have been said during recognitions. So, Miss Kirby Chapman, represented the Warwick School Committee and the city of Warwick, dancing with the stars for Mentor RI. Mentor RI is an incredible community partner for us here. Miss Kirby Chapman brought home hardware. So it is, we continue to celebrate bringing home hardware here in the city of Warwick tonight. Winning Judge's Choice, that correct? Most enthusiastic, yes. Most entertaining, yes. So congratulations to Miss Kirby Chapman. Not only did she go and have to learn how to dance and then, participate in the actual event, but she also had to raise funds. So very proud of her and for representing this committee and the city well. So nicely done. So. And great job with the policies committee this month. To you, Mr. Wiggins, Ms. Murray, and everybody else. Way to tell the whole city that you're blowing things off. That's fine. We are now on to new business. New business. First item before us, discussion presentation update, high school update as presented by Mr. Bates.
Good evening. We have a somewhat brief presentation for you tonight. We can go to the next slide, please. And on the agenda, we're going to give a quick update on the changes to the GMP and the owner's contingency. As of this month, we're going to touch on FF&E and technology budgets, and then we're going to talk about some complications that have to do with building next to a major airport. So, tracking our contingency status in light of this month's hard cost adjustments, and as a reminder, the cost of work adjusts due to things like design coordination, unforeseen conditions, overages, and remaining buyouts, and our contingency then goes down by that amount. So, the building committee this month approved $156,865 in the cost of work changes to this month, making the total to date at $1.7 million. And the contingency then just adjusts down accordingly. So the current balance as of this month is $13.2 million. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my apologies. I don't know if I'm being loud enough or too loud. So the total cost of the project doesn't increase. Just as a reminder, right? We do draw down the owner's contingency in accordance with the cost increase for the hard cost. So we're going to stay on the contingency topic somewhat as we transition to the next slide, please. So we've been carrying in our soft cost budgets, in round numbers, $5 million and $7 million in allowances for the purchase of furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and technology, respectively. This is based on RIDE's prescribed dollar amounts per student, and historically in Rhode Island, we don't see these technology allowances get used in full. And one of the larger possible expenses that we might pay through that line would be the interactive classroom displays, Promethean boards, as an example, but we've made the decision to buy those boards through the contractor, and that gives the district more warranty protection, not just for the boards themselves, but also for the behind-the-wall infrastructure that goes to them. So right now, the FF&E estimates, we're tracking as a cost closer to $6 million. We're having review sessions to see where we could find savings before we go out to bid for that work. Obviously, we want to get that number closer down to $5 million. And something we could consider doing is reallocating some of the tech budget that's currently, as I said, unused over to the FF&E allowance to ensure that we can cover that procurement. And then we can move the balance of that into the owner's contingency. What that does, in our view, is it improves visibility of those dollars, as opposed to having it in the budget just sitting there as a sort of unused placeholder. And that's not to say that if technology purchase needs arise that we wouldn't be able to tap that owner's contingency for that purpose. But if we were to do that today, we'd have an owner's contingency of $18.2 million. You can go to the next slide. So, as I said, we're building close to an airport, and the space above Pilgrim is within the FAA's regulated airspace environment, and we know that because you can go onto the FAA's obstruction evaluation webpage. You can enter the height, longitude, latitude coordinates of your proposed structure or your construction equipment into their pre-screening tool, and then it immediately tells you whether a formal filing with the FAA is required. We can go to the next slide, please. So with the use of that pre-screening tool, we were informed that all the permanent vertical structures, not just at Pilgrim, but also at Tollgate, would also require individual filings by way of a form, FAA Form 7460. And that provides the object's coordinates, the proposed heights above ground level for every single light pole, every building corner on both project sites. So we filed 87 separate notices to the FAA by the spring of last year, 2025. And before we did that, we had multiple conversations with the obstruction evaluation group at the FAA just to confirm that this is in fact necessary. I think my words were, are you sure we have to do this? And turns out we did. We can go to the next slide, please. So with the Form 7460 submitted, the FAA's obstruction evaluation group then performs an aeronautical analysis based on the information provided in these filings and determines whether our proposed structure presents an air navigation hazard. In terms of permanent structures, the tallest that we filed for were the multi-purpose field lighting. That's at 70 feet, and these took 2 rounds of 7460 notices along with stamp signed professional surveys, and that's before the FAA gave us approval at the full height that we needed. They initially responded to our request saying that we could only do 30-foot lights, but the second filing with the surveys gave us approval for the full 70-foot. So what that did at that point was gave us a precedent for being able to work with the FAA, providing the details that they needed for their study, and then we got the desired determination that we were looking for. We can go to the next slide, please. So in March of last year, we awarded Cives Capco the contract for structural steel, and at this point we knew that the FAA presented a potential impact to steel erection logistics, and that depends on the equipment height that they would ultimately allow. Though we did have precedents, as I just said, on working with them to get the 70-foot lights, the exact details of what would be permitted for the erection crane wouldn't be known until the awarded steel contractor filed for FAA crane approval. So we did proceed at bid time with an efficient, economical crane logistics plan. It featured a crane of 180 feet, and we realized a bid savings for the steel scope of $700,000 at that time. So there was an understanding, though, at that time that changes might be imposed downstream by the FAA that we would have to address, but the details would come later once the steel company filed for permit. And we'll go to our last slide, please. After a lengthy back and forth filing process on the part of Dimeo and Capco, the allowable crane height was finally determined at 119 feet. Remember, we wanted 180. So with a considerably shorter crane reach that imposes a much more complicated crane pick plan, you can see it on the screen there. Capco's new logistics proposal has 23 crane locations. It's more expensive by about $170,000. That's due to more steel shipments, the introduction of a low forklift that we're using to unload and support steel placement strategically on the ground, and it costs more time. To mitigate the overall schedule impact, Dimeo has put together an allowance to pay Capco to work overtime on Saturdays with a crew of 12. To make up for that additional time for increased logistics, that's $76,000 in total, and these are part of this month's GMP adjustments that I mentioned at the beginning of our presentation. We're splitting those costs between the owner's contingency and the CM's contingency. The good news here, we think it's unlikely that we're going to use all that overtime premium. We're moving along pretty well, and whatever doesn't get used will get credited back to our owner's contingency. And just, we're not going to go through it, but if you could just bring up quickly the letter that, it's an executive summary that Dimio's put together that really outlines the details of what's involved in filing with the FAA. Again, we won't go through it here, but we can make it available to anybody that's interested. And with that, I'll conclude, and any questions, we're happy to take them.
Mr. Testa.
With respect to the crane, I think you documented chapter and verse, the process, and how we ended up with a 119-foot crane versus a 180-foot crane. I'm not in the building business, construction business. I'm in the food service business. But I know people in the construction business and they're sitting right there. So I don't mind criticism. People want to criticize the project, stuff like that. But pardon my French, but criticism based on bullshit, I'm not going to tolerate. And that's exactly what this was with respect to the FAA. You guys crossed all your T's, dotted all your I's, and essentially there were some who were trying to say that you didn't. And it's basically unfair play. They wouldn't tolerate it if it was done to them. So I want to commend you guys again for the job that you're doing and the diligence that you're doing with the project. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Testa. Okay. This committee's going to need a therapist soon. Any other members of the committee have anything they want to add? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Bates.
Thank you.
We're on to item 2, discussion update, FY26 budget, as presented by Mr. Enos.
Good evening, everyone. We are, heading towards the end of the fiscal year 26. Just like last year, actually it was, I think, around the same date, we froze all spending with the exception of grants and other activities. So any spending for the general fund is frozen with the exception of any emergency purchases that we need to do at this time, because we're really trying to keep a close eye on our year end. In terms of the salaries, we have approximately 37% left in the budget line item, with about 3 months left to that. We still have our high flying items, such as the out-of-district tuitions, both to the regular schools and to the special education placements. We are the transportation bills. When you're looking at that line, you may say, wow, we're in good shape on transportation. We haven't paid all the current bills yet. Our bills are closely scrutinized by the transportation manager every month, and when the errors are found, they are not processed. So we do have some outstanding bills that need to be done, but we're keeping a close eye on those. In terms of the utilities, specifically electricity, that with the rest of the winter coming in, those bills kind of went through the roof. We anticipate rates are going to be dropping as the summer progresses. We're working with the city and an energy consultant to obtain some fixed costs for next year. And I think that was it. Are there any specific questions that you had?
Questions from members of the committee? Mr. Testa.
Thank you. Mr. Enos, have we heard anything back, or has anyone heard anything back from FEMA from the blizzard?
No.
No.
No,
I
we
didn't
have
know what
not.
that time frame was.
I have provided all the information to the consultant that the city's using, and she said as soon as they heard back from Washington, she would be back in touch. Haven't heard anything.
Thank you. those costs, let's assume they get covered by FEMA. What are we still tracking now for the Budget Commission's deficit in this fiscal year? Are they still, is it 2.2, 2.3?
So due to some unexpected tuition costs from the special education and additional students that went out of the district, we are going to be higher than the 2.2. However, we are closely looking at all of the rest of our lines and trying to contain those costs and to see where we're going to have some savings which can affect the bottom line. So.
And so, for the public's knowledge, the Auditor General did approve the deficit reduction plan, but the FY26 budget has been compiled by the Budget Commission, has not yet been approved in its approved format by the City Council. So, in theory, the Budget Commission is still essentially existent. So are you still forwarding expenses on a weekly basis to the city?
Well, now that we have frozen, so we had been, we did receive the communication from the Auditor General that the deficit reduction plan was approved, but since then we really haven't been approving anything. There were some emergency purchases that were going back and forth, which we did communicate with the city. And at the very last budget commission meeting, we did approve some purchases, and those have all gone through.
Attorney Hennius, how would you advise this committee? And I apologize for putting you on the spot with this. How would you advise this committee at this time with respect to oversight of finances, given that the legislation is kind of still in play?
It's a great question. I mean, I think you've got to develop the budget, I think, regardless. You mean the month-to-month finances?
Yeah, the finances that come before us at the end of this meeting. We're expected to provide oversight, but the legislation is technically still in play. So we could provide that oversight, but then we're assuming it's going on to another entity or commission.
Forward to the city.
And then, as a follow-up to that, is there some sort of grand finale to this? Like, do we get notice that the commission has now been dissolved?
I would hope that you would get notice from the mayor or the city council, or saying yes, the commission is officially dissolved. You know, they feel like they've complied with the things that they haven't complied with.
Okay.
And go from there.
So would that be a intergovernmental motion that we should take right now and make a motion to request from the city council and the mayor's administration a legal opinion as to the status of the budget commission?
Yeah, I actually think that's a great idea. Even just someone authorizing the chair to send a letter to the city council and to the mayor requesting the status of the budget commission.
Somebody want to make that motion? Motion made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion on the motion to authorize the chair of the school committee to send a letter onto the city's administration and city council? Huh? Yeah. Any other comments? Constructive ones? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Any other questions for members of the committee for Mr. Enos on FY26 and expenses? I'll just close out. We are heading into budget season. The Warwick Public Schools School Committee is going to host their budget hearing on May 6th. I've been kind of researching what other cities and towns do. I'm going to send a formal invitation to the City Council, inviting them to join the school committee and the administration for our budget hearing. We will run it as a forum to allow public Q&A. It will be timed like anything else, but we will have the City Council be able to provide their input. The school committee will be able to provide their input. Public can ask questions, and there'll be the standard presentation from the superintendent and his staff. That's May 6th, 6 p.m. here at Warwick Veterans. May 6th, 6 p.m. Here at Warwick Veterans. It will be the Warwick Public School Committee superintendent budget hearing. So, a further example of this committee showing collaboration with other bodies of government here in Warwick, transparency, and the like. So we're now on to item 3, discussion update, superintendent update as presented by Superintendent McCaffrey.
Mr. Chair, members of the school committee, this past month we've witnessed one of the largest unified basketball tournaments the state has ever held. I'd like to congratulate Mr. McCombs for being the chair, Principal McCombs, all the staff members from the schools, all the principals from the elementary schools, all the faculty members, everyone that pitched in to help out to make it a success. This year we didn't have just one set time. We had 2 sessions, and it's a credit to the committee that's been working for several months putting this event together. So I would like to say congratulations to Mr. McCombs and everyone that was involved. It was an excellent event. The past few weeks, the schools have been completing their RICAS testing in ELA, and recently, this past week, in the commissioner's memo, Mr. Dillon and the faculty and staff, there was a shout out for having a weekly attendance rate of 97.53%. Great job to the Robinson staff and Mr. Dillon. Warwick veterans recently completed their collaborative conference with the New England Association of Secondary Schools and Colleges. The next step in the process would be that their visit report will be submitted to the commission, and upon the submission, they will vote in June on whether or not Warwick veterans would be the second accredited middle school in the state of Rhode Island. As we all know, Women is the first. Congratulations to the staff at Warwick Veterans, Principal Devine, for all your hard work. The chair of the NEAS Commission of the collaborative conference team did mention the strong faculty at Warwick Veterans, also their strong focus on a vision of a graduate, as well as the curriculum work that is currently going on at the school. So I'm pleased to report that they had a successful collaborative conference, and I'm looking forward to the vote by the NEAS Commission in June. And based upon the reaction of the chair, I would imagine they will be voting favorably on Warwick Vets, but I'll be able to report back to you in July on this matter. End of the year is approaching. As you know, there are many events that happen, from graduations, moving up ceremonies, to field trips, to field days. Please pay attention to the district calendar for all the events. I know the schools love to see the school committee members there. I know I try to attend as many events as I can, but to me, attending these events, it's twofold. They see your dedication to the schools, and you also get to see all the hard work that you've been doing, grinding away on budgets, on all the work that we do here at the school committee meetings, and you see it paying off in these different ceremonies. So if you can, pay attention to the district calendar, attend the events. I know everyone appreciates to see you there. Finally, I would add that Oakland Beach will be having a special recognition by Special Olympics of Rhode Island. Please pay attention to the invitations that will be coming out. And once again, I would also like to just congratulate all the athletes that were recognized this evening. Outstanding job, coaches, staff. Thank you for all you do for the student athletes in Warwick schools.
Thank you, Superintendent McCaffrey. Any comments, questions for the superintendent? I would echo Superintendent McCaffrey's statements regarding the unified tournament. It was incredible to see what a crowd, the smile on the children's faces. Great job by Gary McCombs. It was requested by our colleague, Mr. Wiggins, for this month to have Mr. McCombs be recognized during recognitions, but for those who have been following along all evening with us, we had a large contingent already, so I respectfully asked if we could just move him into May. So, Mr. McCombs, we will love to have you here in May and recognize you, as well as anyone else you want from the Unified Elementary School Basketball Committee to join at that meeting. So, We're on to item 4. I'm looking for a motion to move approval, discussion, action, amend 2026-2027 school calendar, changing primary day from the 8th to the 9th. Made by Mr. Testa and Ms. Hazelwood, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion? I would just remark for the public's knowledge, there was an interesting article online the other day. It hasn't been reflected yet on the Secretary of State's website, this change in the election date. But there was an interesting thought process around it, is that you would have poll workers working on the Monday holiday, and it would increase cost, and there would be some sort of impact to the operation of setting up for the election on Tuesday. So if anybody was wondering why there was that date change, there was that interesting article that was put out. So that is why we're having to modify our calendar at this time, is the primary election day was moved from Tuesday the 8th to now Wednesday the 9th. So again, those following along at home, that week will now have no school on Monday, school on Tuesday, no school on Wednesday, school on Thursday, and then Friday. So any other comments from members of the committee on the calendar? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. At this time, we're going to pass on items 5 and 6 until we can get back into executive session. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval, discussion, action, litigation consultant, Matt Oliverio. Made by Mr. Wiggins and Mr. Testa, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood. The motion here is for us to move forward with retaining the litigation consultant as discussed in executive session. Seeing that there's no more comments, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the discussion action request for engineering, drafting, and design to attend an out-of-state field trip. Made by Mr. Testa and Ms. Hazelwood, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion? Best of luck to those students. Enjoy yourselves. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're now on to the financial matters associated with this meeting. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the change orders as presented. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion on any of the change orders? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the general funded requisitions. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion on the general funded requisitions? Mr. Testa.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I have just one question and 2 comments. For Mr. Napolillo on Rec 24392 for Apogee, we're buying a prorated renewal, right, from April 11th through June 30th. Okay, why? Wouldn't it typically run from June through July? Or
Check. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing, is getting on the July 1 to June 30th. So that's why we're trying to clean up. You chop this off, and then we got a nice clean slate to match all the rest.
You answered my question. And the second one, this is just a comment. It's Rec 24466 for Better Days Technology. You put in your paper, this thing, that by moving it all to Verkada, you get a reimbursement credit. And just so you know, it was a $16,000 credit, or about 24% of the entire bill. So kudos to you and your department for that.
Thank you.
And third one is not for you. This is just, I guess, to Ms. McGovern, but she's not here. So Rec 24487, West Warwick Public Schools, it's the transportation cost share for displaced students that, working with West Warwick, we save $50,000. So kudos to them too. That's it.
Anyone else? Mr. Wiggins.
Requisition 24394. I know Mr. Ricks isn't here, but I would echo the same. I assume this is going to vets. Going to Mickey Stevens, and that we take the same measures to protect our equipment in a public space. And I'm not sure if that's for you, Mr. McCaffrey, or if it's just to assure that that's done.
You are correct. It would be going to a public space for the Pilgrim team, and we'll make sure that it's properly protected.
My son's on the team. He's not going to really be in it, but I just figured it'd be all right. Just make sure it's safe.
few more months. Any other comments from members of the committee? Seeing none, all those in favor of the general funded requisitions? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of the grant funded requisitions made by Mr. Testa and Ms. Kirby Chapman, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion on grant funded requisitions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the bid awards as presented, made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Wiggins. I'm going to make a motion to amend the packet, removing bid number 260020, GCD upgrades Pilgrim, Hoxie, Wyman, Welk, and Pilgrim, Hoxie, Wyman, Welk, and can this thing open? Norwood, Oakland Beach, and Gorton. Okay.
Disabilities. That's, yep. Yeah, we're going to pull that one out.
I made the motion. Looking for a second by Mr. Testa. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries on the motion to remove bid 260020 from this packet. Now I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the original bid awards that are still remaining.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion on the bid awards that are now remaining in the packet? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We will now be going into public comment. After public comment, we'll do our docket sessions and future meetings. Then we'll go back into executive session. We'll come back out of executive session and take action on items 5 and 6. So individual comments will be respectfully limited to 3 minutes per person, with public comment not to exceed 45 minutes. Though the content of comments will not be restricted, it is the hope of this committee that citizens, committee members, and the administration alike will be respectful of each other's right to speak, tolerant of different points of view, and mindful of everyone's time. This public comment period is for general comments or concerns. Speakers are asked to state their name for the record. Again, for those new to the meetings, the podium is down here to our left. 3 minutes per person, and I just kindly ask again you state your name for the record.
Jacob Medor, Warwick resident, Warwick educator, and Warwick taxpayer. Over the past few months, I have seemed to make it a habit of coming up here and congratulating different groups, and either that be athletics or academics, that have won in the past month, and I promise it. I didn't mean it to be a pattern, but as long as we keep on winning, I guess it will remain one. Many of which were recognized earlier tonight. For, a Warwick student won the #1 in the entire nation for weight throwing. Not one event, but twice in 2 years in a row now. So just throwing that out there. But I know there was a long list earlier on. I just wanted to highlight some of the ones that didn't make it on that list. The Warwick Co-op Girls Hockey Team won #1 in the state. Another title. On top of wrestling, on top of everything else we've talked about, and we cleaned up on Skills USA for the Rotec Center. I was going to read off the medals, but I don't think I could have done that in 3 minutes, Mr. Garrigan. But I digress, just giving some more love and support and recognition for those who didn't get on the long list of recognitions earlier in the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Midori. I do want to comment. He brings up a great point. We had a very successful winter, and our career and tech students continue to make us proud. So we did already identify many athletic programs and career and tech students to come before us in May. So we've already started building the May agenda and the recognition. So just at one point we had to draw the line, or we would have been here until midnight, because these kids are doing some great things. So thank you.
Good evening, Jeremy Langell, Ward 5. I'm also the advocacy chair at Warwick Neck Elementary. Was regretful to hear that the Auditor General passed the budget. We did submit a letter. Several PTAs signed on: Park Elementary, Oakland Beach Elementary, Hoxie, and I think we're still working with other PTAs to help them understand the impacts of this budget. So So we're going to keep doing that. I think there's not much else to do at this moment except to continue to organize, and I don't think any help is coming. So we're going to have to figure this out together. I wouldn't wait on FEMA. Wouldn't hold your breath. Just have a feeling about that. You know, the state's got some challenges, and of course, you know, we have our challenges here too. So let me know how we can be helpful. Our PTAs really care. You know, Warwick Elementary is not a Title I school, so everything that happens because of our PTA, and we're running behind on our giving by several $1,000s. So we recognize the situation that we're in, and of course, we have to keep doing the work together. So I regret hearing that news tonight, and let me know what you need from me. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi all, Mary Townsend, Wise Union President, Special Education Teacher Assistant. I want to say thank you to the PTAs and PTOs and the parents who are supporting this district. I think that it's really important that more of the public understand the position we're in and the reasons why we're here. This isn't all because the district spent too much money. This is all because the city never gave us enough money to begin with. So that's my feeling about that. My other thing is I want to thank you for the recognitions that you've been doing for athletics and academics. I enjoyed sitting here tonight. Of course, my granddaughter was not here tonight, but she was one of them. But I really enjoy watching all the athletes and their families. They're so proud. So that's my other comment about that. And I already forgot because I got so excited about the children. All right, well, whatever it was, it mustn't have been the most important thing on the list, so I'll turn it over to Ms. Necco. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Townsend.
Darlene Netco, Warwick Teachers Union President. I'm going to respond to the letter that the chair read aloud at the beginning of the meeting. If this committee is going to allow people not in attendance to submit written testimony to be read aloud, then there needs to be a policy, and then anyone in the city can do so. Your own directions or your own statement at the beginning of the agenda says the only way to guarantee complete access to the meeting is to be physically present at the meeting. So first, to read a letter aloud where no one else knew that that's a possibility was wrong. Number two, that letter did not address an agenda item. Just because there's a mention about a Career Center program on here is not free rein to talk about the Career Center schedule. And number three, and the most egregious part of that letter was the fact that the letter writer does not understand what collective bargaining is. We do not have a teacher's contract. We have a collective bargaining agreement between the school committee and the teachers union that is at least 60 years old. The union has been in place, the Warwick Teachers Union, for about 80 years. So this is a product of many years of back and forth negotiations. If there's something about the schedule that the letter writer doesn't like, then the letter writer can talk to the superintendent. Just so you know, the high school schedule does not drive the Career Center schedule, it's the opposite. The Career Center programs are in blocks, or a block of what amounts to 3 periods. So our periods 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6 always have to be together with period 7 rotating throughout. That schedule has been in place for about 31 years now, or 30 years. When the 9th grade moved out of Windman back in the 95-96 year, that's when this schedule was put in place. So if something needs to be done, then the administration needs to decide what needs to be done. And as far as the contract, it becomes a matter of collective bargaining. But for that clearly that person who wrote that letter does not understand what collective bargaining is. And to place the onus completely on the Warwick Teachers Union
30
to say
seconds.
it's our contract and our schedule that is not providing our students with the opportunity to take classes is wrong, and it shows that this person does not understand basic collective bargaining. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Any other members of the public wishing to comment? Mr. Conkey, anything from you tonight?
No, sir.
No, you're good? Okay. You guys all set over there? Demio guys are good? No other comments?
All set.
All right, good. We're on to the docket session. This portion of the meeting is for school committee members to request items to be docketed for future agendas or to be assigned to subcommittees by the school committee chair. We'll start with Mr. Testa. Anything to docket? Thank you, Mr. Wiggins. Thank you, Ms. Kirby-Chapman. Thank you, Ms. Hazelwood. Anything? No? I have nothing to docket as well. Future meetings. The next policy subcommittee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 5th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. The next building committee meeting is scheduled for April 29th at 7:30 a.m. The next school committee budget hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, May 6th, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in Warwick Vets. That will be facilitated in a forum style. The next monthly school committee meeting thereafter is scheduled for Tuesday, May 12th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. The next Health and Wellness Subcommittee meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 14th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. And given the very sad and unfortunate resignation of Mr. Enos, at this time, the scheduling of the next fiscal subcommittee meeting is to be determined because we have other pressing matters going on. So at this time, I'd be looking for a motion from one of my colleagues to go back into executive session. Ms. Hazelwood, yes.
The Community Outreach Committee is meeting on May 5th at 5:30 at the Warwick Public Library, small meeting room.
Thank you, Ms. Hazelwood. Okay, I'd be looking for a motion to go back into executive session for discussion and/or action regarding those items of business exempt from open meetings under general laws of Rhode Island, RIGL 42-46-5A1, A2, A4, A8, and A9. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? We're now in executive session again at 8:09 p.m. and we'll be back out to handle the final two matters of business. Thank you. At this time, it's 8:34. I'm calling back to order the regular meeting of the Warwick School Committee in open session. I'd be looking for a motion to seal the minutes of executive session. Made by Ms. Hazelwood and seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. There were no votes taken in executive session. We're on to agenda item 5, discussion action, central admin restructure. I'm looking for a motion to table that item. Made by Mr. Tester and Mr. Wiggins, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on discussion action, revised middle management salary proposal as presented by the administration in executive session. Made by, who was that? Made by Mr. Wiggins, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Testa. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Being that there's no other matters of business before this committee, I'd be looking for a motion to move to adjourn at 8:35 p.m. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries at 8:35 p.m. Thank you.